Good morning, everyone. Good news. I lived. things are things are all good. Yeah, I was sorry I was out a couple days. Wasn't feeling well. But thank you all for being here. I want to talk to you about Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, because as you remember, he was going to get a sweetheart deal. Remember Hunter Biden was rolling into court like he owned the place. He was facing an illegal firearms possession charge where he allegedly lied to get his license to own a firearm. I don't think people should have to get a license in the beginning, to be personally, but he lied about it. He lied about his fact that he was, still doing drugs while he applied for it. Apparently, you can't do drugs and own a firearm. Go figure. And he also just decided he plain old didn't want to pay taxes for a while. And as much as I support people who just plain old don't want to pay taxes, the reality of this world is, you got to pay taxes or the IRS comes to your door and arrests you. Well, not them, but the police. And Hunter Biden, the law finally caught up with him. He's facing charges now for not paying his taxes and for the gun charge. And people were saying, unlike if you or I look, if I were to not pay my taxes for 2 years, I guarantee I'd go to prison for it. you know, Hunter Biden was gonna get the sweetest of sweetheart deals, and the legacy media was, circling the wagons, being like, it's not a sweetheart deal. He's being charged worse than anybody. And you had, of course, black Americans coming out and pointing to rappers and other black Americans who faced felony charges, several years in prison for less than what Hunter's done. And people were like, look, you'll throw this guy in prison for it for several years, and Hunter's going to get off scot-free, maybe with probation. That sweetheart deal is gone. It is gone and flown the coop right out the window. And it's interesting how it all happened. I mean, it's like something out of a movie. I feel like we should make some live action drama about this, because Hunter Biden's lawyers, or his legal team, they're accused right now of launching a covert operation to try to trick the judge to get evidence and throw it out. So the accusation is that Hunter Biden's legal team had to deny that they were trying to scam the court over this. The allegation is this: Hunter Biden's legal team apparently wanted to get evidence disappeared. They apparently didn't want certain evidence to be shown in court or maybe released to the public. I don't know what. They pretended like they were Republican lawyers. Allegedly, again, this is the allegation going around, right? They pretend like they're Republican lawyers. They go and ask the court clerk to get access to the evidence, and they try to destroy evidence. Yeah, that's what they're being accused of. And lo and behold, they get caught. Gee, I wonder how that happened. I wonder if this happened after his own lawyer was shown. He was photographed on the balcony. I assume it was his hotel or his house. He's on a balcony and he's smoking a bong, to smoke marijuana or who knows what, in public. It's his lawyer. And so he's in a lot of trouble. But the big thing he's facing trouble for right now is that apparently part of that sweetheart deal was an agreement that he would also get let off the hook for all future potential charges. And when people heard about this, they're like, what the heck is going on? And I found it interesting, actually. I don't think any of the legacy media, none of the establishment media are really making this clear. Now, let me show you first what Fox News says, then I'll go into it a bit more. It says here, Fox News, Hunter Biden's plea deal fell apart during his first court appearance Wednesday morning as he pleaded not guilty, as federal prosecutors confirmed the president's son is still under federal investigation. Hunter Biden was expected to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax as part of a plea deal to avoid jail time on a felony gun charge. So the way it was supposed to work, the gun charge would get disappeared. It would disappear. He would plead guilty to failure to pay his taxes. And because, I'll tell you in a minute, basically he decided to not do that, meaning the gun charge and the tax evasion stuff. It's all there, and who knows what you can possibly do if your lawyers try to like trick the judge into destroying evidence. I mean, we're in uncharted territory here. I don't think I've heard of that before. This is how it allegedly happened, though. The Hunter Biden legal team allegedly wanted immunity for all future charges. And the way this allegedly went down was this. Came up in court, the judge is reading the plea deal, and the judge is like, wait a minute, what the heck is going, I mean, this is the way it's been framed, of course. What the heck is going on here? Not, of course, not the judge's exact words, I should note. Because part of the plea deal contained a clause, or contained a part, that would have granted Hunter Biden not just, being pardoned on the gun charge, but being pardoned on every possible future charge he could face related to this ongoing investigation. The judge confirmed there are still ongoing investigations, possibly for human trafficking, moving prostitutes across state lines, possibly for his crimes allegedly involving his father. Things that are hitting the public right now and things that are being investigated by Republicans. Had the judge granted Hunter Biden the text of what somebody had written to give him this sweetheart plea deal, Hunter Biden would have gotten off on all that other stuff, including the things that the Republicans currently are investigating and are beginning to release evidence of publicly. This was a Hunter Biden and Joe Biden essentially get out of jail free card disguised as a plea deal for a gun charge. And when the judge saw this technicality, the judge was like, what the heck is this? And of course, the legal team went back and forth. The question came up, well, does the plea deal offer Hunter Biden immunity to all future charges? I mean, who the heck gets that? What the heck is that? How do you get immunity for all future potential charges? The judge says, of course not. The prosecutors say, of course not. And Hunter Biden's legal team throw their arms up in the air, essentially, and say, okay, deal's off. We're going to plead guilty. We're going to plead not guilty. They didn't take the plea deal. Wild stuff. Really wild stuff. They were trying to use this to get immunity for anything else. And this kind of confirmed what a lot of people, I think, suspected was happening, that this was a slap on the wrist charge to get rid of the things that actually matter. This was a bringing out to the public some of the most minor charges. I mean, major charges for normal people. If I dodged my taxes and lied on a federal form to get a gun license, or lied on a form to get a gun license, I'd go to jail for probably a long time. Most of you would go to jail for a long time. For most of us, that's a major crime. For Hunter Biden, comparatively to the other things he's possibly facing, it's ironically far from the worst of what he's probably done. And so they were trying to use that as kind of the Trojan horse to bring it out into the public and then, use it to basically expunge all the other charges. Oh, and he lost it. He lost it. It's over. We'll see where it goes, of course. But what this does suggest, unless the judge does like a 180 and says, does like the SOS blinking sign and is like, nothing is wrong. I have decided to change my mind. Hunter Biden shall get immunity for all future. Unless that happens and the judge is like blinking SOS. We can assume that Hunter is not going to get immunity for all future charges, meaning that the ongoing investigations do have the potential to have criminal implications, not just for Hunter, but for the Biden family overall. By the way, you'll get a kick out of the technicalities, the agreement of him even being released while he's waiting for trial. He has to seek employment. Maybe being an artist does not count as employment. He has to have no use of a controlled substance, meaning that crack cocaine, I don't know, it's probably not going to be possible. He can't even drink alcohol. And there's a whole bunch of other agreements he has to have. And so Hunter's walking on glass right now. He has to suddenly walk the straight and narrow to not go to prison. And if he gets caught doing otherwise, well, it's possible he's going to go to prison. I mean, he's in a difficult position. Even his lawyer can't like avoid doing drugs in public. His lawyer was photographed smoking a bong on his balcony. You know, if even your lawyer cannot agree to the terms that you're expected to hold yourself to, you know you're in trouble. And then that's where we're at. I'll keep you updated as it goes along, but the Hunter Biden saga just keeps getting more interesting. The poor guy can't go into the public eye for a little bit without running into some weird controversy. Anyways, folks, what wild times we're living in. That said, let's jump over to Epoch TV. NPR has a new update for all of you. Now, NPR has made a lot of stories recently about why eating bugs may be good for you, good for the environment. They've even had eating bug recipes. So if you're interested in cooking some bugs for you or your family, NPR, which is partly financed by your tax dollars, by the way, NPR has recipes for your family to cook some bugs. They've made cases on why it's just plain old good for the environment. And because, look, people just seem to not be interested in eating bugs, NPR is very discouraged by this. National Public Radio, they're very unhappy that the public is not just eating the bugs. And they're now saying that if you don't eat bugs, you actually might be racist. I mean, if you look at those people who aren't eating bugs, that they might just hate black people somehow. I don't know how, but NPR claims that might be the case. I'll explain to you NPR's logic. Let's jump over to, you just gotta laugh at it sometimes. I don't know what's wrong with the world. I can't figure it out, folks. Let's jump over to Epoch TV, though. We'll talk about how NPR says you may, in fact, be racist if you don't like eating bugs or if you're against eating bugs. That said, though, we have a flash sale going on. So, again, if you're on YouTube, you want to join our live Q&A, we have documentaries, we have other shows. There's the rest of my show. A lot of great stuff. Come over to Epoch TV. And again, I'll do the rest of the episode there. We'll do the Q&A as well.